Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Diz, a show that gives you everything you need to know to help make your Disney vacation as magical as can be in just about 20 minutes. I'm your host, Jeff Coviello. With me each week is Disney Master Sandy from Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services. Sandy, how are you this week?
I am cold, along with, I think, everywhere else in the country.
Yes, it is incredibly cold right now, to be honest with you. In the Northeast, I hit single digit today. I don't know if that's where you were.
I was in the single digits. I will be honest. I am just back from Orlando, which was colder than usual, but they saw snow in northern Florida.
Oh, yeah.
I heard that they had snow in Louisiana up to 4 inches and that there isn't a single snowplow in the entire state. But I have friends and good clients that just left for a business trip to Minnesota where it was currently minus 18. So
Oh, gosh. God
I'm
bless.
feeling some perspective on cold, but nothing warms me up like a good festival.
Well, that's actually why we're coming to you for those that are early morning listeners on our normal drop day. We usually drop on every Wednesday. That's why we're coming to you a little bit later today because you were traveling. You did attend the Festival of the Arts over in Epcot.
I did. And you hear me talk about all of my favorite things, all different kinds of Disney favorites all year long. But as festivals go, I love the Festival of the Arts. It is a tough tie for me with Festival of the Holidays, but they are among my two favorites. So this one, while it is short and sweet, it is one that I encourage everybody to figure out a way to get to because I think it's amazing.
Well, short and sweet. That's probably what our show will be today too. But before we even go any further, because it is so short and sweet, tell us this year's dates.
It is January 17th to February 24th, so just 5 weeks. And again, in the spirit of Disney magic, they don't have a lot more time for it because this is a relatively newer festival. It's been for many years, but it is not, one of the Epcot originals. And they squeeze it in right before they bring us Flower and Garden, which starts March 5th, just over a week later.
Yeah, so not a whole lot of time in between. So tell us what makes this particular festival of the Arts, it's been a couple of years now, what makes it so unique?
Partly that short time frame, but it's really about the people. This festival is so different. It's not different in that we don't miss out on all our food. We couldn't have a festival without lots of great food.
Right.
But this is about the arts, culinary arts, performing arts, visual arts. So yes, most of the festivals have that concert series. We're going to have a concert series, but then instead of going around and checking out topiaries and floral displays and gardens and things, here you're checking out live art, singers, musicians. One of my favorites is painting that they do live, chalk art. It's really immersive, and it's also unique because the souvenirs from this, the art, are just the best.
Well, so that's what makes it unique, but tell us what there is to do. You mentioned some of the things there that I know you're going to mention again, and maybe in a little bit more detail, but give us a rundown of why somebody would attend this festival and what the things are that they could enjoy.
You bet. And I want to also point out that all the things that I'm going to talk about are free with admission. They are all included. There's no sign up for these things. There's no extra cost. This is just an extra in Epcot, all these great things.
Nice. Okay.
So the first is chalk art, which was one of the original festival items. In that main bridge, as you're going from the front of the park towards the World Showcase, you've got those 3 bridges that you can go across.
Yep.
And one of them, the back half of the bridge, the 2 edges of the walkway are lined with chalk art by local artists that come in and just do the most incredible job you've ever seen. It's great if you go on first and second day of the festival, or if you unfortunately end up having to go back after it's rained and washed away some of their work, to see them doing these chalk paintings live. You can watch them, they're sitting down on the ground, and I know people are probably saying chalk painting. They're huge. I think the small ones are, 4 foot by 4 foot, and then they always have one really large one. And they're everything from interpretations of Disney characters to, the Mona Lisa and real famous works of art. So it's great to see them all.
Very cool. I mean, chalk art is just, it's one of those things that when you think of kids chalk, right? Like that's what you think of, right? But that also is something that's there for them to do too.
That's where that came from. You kind of watch and see these, and then you can become so inspired. Obviously, the kids are not creating masterpieces of this level, but they're all creating their own masterpieces, which are wonderful.
Well, my kids would beg to differ. Their masterpieces are, of course, of that.
Of course, better.
Yeah, of course.
And again, I love that there's so many opportunities for the kids to get involved. They can appreciate the chalk art. They can do the chalk art. And then the other thing is these paint by number murals that they always have. And I encourage you to try and go by there in the morning and then later in the day, because especially if you've got a younger child, they're not necessarily going to figure out what this is right away. The paint by number is a massive mural. It's 30 some odd feet long. It's over 6 feet tall. And it's all these teeny tiny squares. And it is a little paint by number. So again, you're going to get online. It's free. They're going to give you a paintbrush, a little pot of paint. They're going to tell you a spot to go stand by. It's numbered, so everybody's got their own little bit of elbow room. And then you look for your number in that section and you fill in the square. And when you come back later in the day, you can see all the work coming together. They usually take a day to 2 days to finish a mural. There are 4 different designs. There's a monorail over Epcot, there's Figment, there's one that's all the countries, and then there's one that showcases Festival of the Art. It's got paintbrushes and easels and some food tastings, and then it kind of goes through all of the Epcot festivals. So it's a lot of fun. And then again, a free souvenir, whichever one you are part of painting, you will leave with a bookmark of it.
That's cool. I mean, I just think like the idea of creating something along the way is so quintessential Epcot, right? It's new-ish, but it's definitely within the spirit of what Epcot has always been.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So what else?
They do visual art performances. So they're bringing out a rotation of musicians, and this is in a new location this year. And I will admit, it is not exactly where I thought it was going to be. When they opened that Communicore Center, where they've had the Encanto show,
Right.
We were told it was going where the Encanto show was. But interestingly, it's not replacing the Encanto show.
Oh,
They
fun.
kind of have dueling time. So the Encanto show is on the stage under the nice covered area. And at the very back of the area where you would normally watch the Encanto show, they put up a stage just for Festival of the Arts. So it kind of rotates each half hour. There's an Encanto show, then there's a festival show facing the other way, then there's an Encanto show. My favorite of that is watching Trevor Carlton. He does a live Disney painting while dancing in about 10 minutes.
That's awesome.
And it is just amazing to see what he did. We've got a video up on YouTube from last year, and I've got another one that I took this year. He's just incredible to watch. The guy has more talent in his pinky than I have in my whole body. I have bought a couple of his prints. His work is amazing. He is the only painter that we see live. But again, one of the neat things is there are so many extra booths here dedicated to Disney artists. Many of them are there signing their work, but many of them are also painting something in between. They've got a piece that they're working on while nobody's there to talk to them, so you can just stand around and watch for quite some time. It's really amazing to see all the great artists there.
That's really fun. What other visual arts performances do we see? What other kinds of things are there to take in?
There's acrobats. There's a guitar player, a saxophone player, a harp player. Check your guide. They do have some things listed in the festival book, but it is important, I would say, especially with the weather, keep your eye on the My Disney Experience app to make sure you've got all the times, because again, they're going to be very time driven. This is at 10:30, this is at 12:30, and it's one of those things where if you get there late, you missed it, you missed it.
Right. There's not, you're not
So
waiting for it. It happened. Right.
keep an eye out for it.
Uh,
There's some great things.
One of the things that you and I have talked about really kind of frequently, especially over the last year, is the way that Disney's been manipulating and doing some fun things with photos. Talk to me about what we see in that regard in the festival.
I love them. We see them here. We've talked about them at the Christmas and the Halloween party. They're basically giant pictures that you step into. And they're set up not like the old ones that we're used to, like that one in Magic Kingdom where, there's spots for two heads to stick through.
Right, right.
These are big scenes. There's a Mona Lisa one. It started with just true great artworks. But last year they added Beauty and the Beast, a Mary Poppins, a Sleeping Beauty. And this year they have a new Moana photo. So it works whether you're one person, two people, or 20 people. It's kind of arrange yourself in the middle of the story. And
That's
again,
fun.
use your camera, use PhotoPass, or again, ask PhotoPass for help using your camera, because it's definitely not a scene that you can easily selfie in.
That sounds cool. What else do they have? Because I know that that's certainly not the end.
It is not. They've got the Animation Academy, so maybe go to the Animation Academy before you take your kids to the chalk art. Then
Okay.
they can draw some great things.
Sure.
They've got chock full of character, which we've seen them have for the last 2 years now. As you're making your way around the World Showcase, you will find a little bit of a scavenger hunt in art done right on the sides of different places. Mushu is out there. I saw a Hey Hey, lots of different character art. Just you look at it, and I have to say, I did a double take at some of it, and I do it now when I go all the time, because I'm like, isn't that the spot that such and such is supposed to be?
Right.
They literally work on these buildings just for that time.
That's fun. That's cool. I know whenever we talk about Disney Cruise Line, one of the things that you continue to mention is the wonderful performances, the Broadway style performances. It sounds like we see and hear a little bit of that during this festival.
Disney on Broadway concerts are the highlight of the festival. Every night, 3 times a night, you have the free concert series. You can do it with a dining package if you want to be guaranteed a seat up front. Standby line if not. And again, it's in that open air theater in America. So maybe you have a child that you don't think is going to sit through it. Maybe you don't want to stand online and wait to get a seat. Make your way towards America. You may not see great, but you'll definitely hear them. Each night is 2 former Broadway stars, and they do tunes from all different Broadway shows, not just the ones that they appeared in. But you will see the original Anna, Elsa, people from The Lion King. They really do such a phenomenal job. And again, included with your ticket, like a free night on Broadway.
Yeah, you can't beat that. I mean, they've been going for so long too that there's just such a large catalog to pull from.
It's amazing. And this year actually celebrates 30 years of Disney on Broadway.
Wow.
So there is a new exhibit this year, again, in that new festival center. And it is costumes and unique pieces, including one of my favorites, from a variety of Disney shows. So they do have the giraffe costume from Lion King. And I say costume very loosely. It is somebody
Yeah.
on stilts with kind of a head and his arms. To see it and picture yourself actually getting in it, it's a little harder to picture when they're on stage, but seeing it here is incredible. They've got a section dedicated to Newsies, one for Frozen, one for Lion King. You can actually get into that scene. They've got Jafar's, they've got the magic lamp, and you can do your little genie impression and rub the magic lamp. You can see the original dress for Anna and Elsa. If you've got more of a teen who's aspiring in something in fashion, they've got a display of all the different fabrics used in all of the Frozen costumes. So just a really neat piece of Broadway trivia, and you can just go through. It's self-paced. Some people I saw, speeding through there in under 5 minutes. Other people, you could easily be in there for 20, 30 minutes, depending on what your level of attention is. But a fun thing to celebrate that milestone for Broadway.
Well, and I'm going to use this term affectionately, there are so many Broadway nerds geeking out by by that description there, because it's just such a really cool thing that to walk through and see all those things. So that sounds like something you can't miss if that is in your wheelhouse, and if it's not, you still shouldn't miss it. But that's the free stuff. So what about if you have some extra cash, which of course everybody that visits Disney has extra cash, is looking to spend some money on what can we do?
Well, if you have extra cash, I encourage you to walk all the way around the festival and then go back for your favorite piece of art.
Okay.
There's phenomenal art. And again, some of it is postcards and prints that are in the $8 to $30 range. Some of it is canvases that are not original, that are in the $200 range. I was looking at a piece that I sadly did not take home with me. In the $5,000 range. I just kept walking around going, I should have bought a lottery ticket this week.
Yeah.
Because if I had the money to drop, the number of things I would have come home with is incredible. And I will also say, even on the bigger pieces, let Disney ship them home. The shipping is so much more reasonable than you would think. Don't try and figure out how you're carrying this onto the plane and not destroying it.
Okay.
But I think you were talking smaller pieces, is my
Yeah,
guess.
probably not a $5,000 cost is what I was thinking. Yes.
So the Figment brush scavenger hunt, we know that they love a good scavenger hunt in the park. And again, one of the things about these, you can do the hunt the way a typical scavenger hunt is intended. Purchase it, go out, find all the things, come back for your prize. Or you can purchase it and pick up your prize at the same time. Prizes are while supplies last, so they could change before the end of the festival. Right now, it is a choice of a Mickey, Minnie, or a Figment sticker, kind of the ones that are cut out and dimensional that would go on the back of your car or somewhere like that where you want to decal something.
Okay, cool.
Very cute.
Yeah, sounds cool.
And of course, as I said, every festival is filled with food. So that's definitely where you can spend your money.
Now you're speaking my language.
You can also sadly spend a lot of your time here. I know I talk about this with every festival. Some of the lines just never seem to die down. Yes, I'm talking about you, France. I don't get it. Your line is never, ever short. Some of them, it's a matter of timing. I've walked by Italy and I could have gotten online. I'm in person 100. And then I walked by 3 hours later and I was like person number 12. So the lines do move quickly, but think about how much time you do want to spend there. I think a lot of people, especially I was there on opening weekend, so you do have a lot of locals who have a lot of favorites. This year they added a new booth and it's called Fictual Victuals.
Huh.
And I guess because it was new, I probably passed this booth about 12 times and there were never more than 5 people in line. And I will say, I think it had my most favorite dish of the festival. So make sure, take advantage of the short line and try it out. They had a squid ink pasta with lump crab, a truffle cream, shaved cheese, and then this great little crumble on top. Amazing.
It sounds like Venice. It sounds like I was just walking through Venice. It's good. I love it.
And again, one of the things about the food in this festival, not that they don't do it in every festival, but I think they must say to the chefs, come back with color because this is art.
Sure.
And this booth gets my #1 color award. They did a black cocoa brownie with ubi ice cream, a coral little tulle, and a sponge cake.
Nice.
That was visually stunning, like a piece of art that I hesitated to eat, but also delicious.
Nice.
There is no shortage of food here. 51 food items in the festival booth. I guess we had to have that extra one.
Sure.
25 are new.
Nice.
So 50% of the food is new. 71 drink items, 27 of which are new.
Okay.
Listen, you can eat a lot more food than you can drink. I'll be honest about that.
Well, with that attitude, sure, of course.
What can I tell you? I did go for kind of the unique item this festival, the kitty one.
Sure.
The raspberry pastry tart. It was a sugar cookie with a raspberry and lemon cream cheese filling.
Nice.
Think of like a Pop-Tart, but done in figment colors. It was actually excellent.
Sounds cool. That's something that I would definitely take part in. But what other things did you see?
I am a pesto girl. Put pesto on the menu and guaranteed I'm going to have it. A caprese poutine with a spiced French fry, confit tomatoes, garlic, mozzarella pearls, basil pesto, shaved pecorino romano, and a balsamic glaze.
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
Probably the longest line I stood on. I'll be honest, if I were to have it a second time, I'd ask them to leave off the balsamic glaze. It was one too many competing flavors. And I love my French fries nice and crispy. And the glaze made a lot of them soggy.
Sure, that makes sense. It's like the Jersey order. The gravy is on the side of the disco
that's
fries.
Correct.
Is what it is. Everybody's shaking their head from Jersey here. Give us a couple more before we say goodbye.
I am not a deviled egg person, but this deviled egg trio with a pimento cheese in one, a green goddess filling in the other, and a BLT was, again, beautiful rainbow presentation. Orange, yellow, green on the egg, so it was stunning.
Okay.
I also got in line at the old Starbucks location as you enter the World Showcase that is now an ice cream spot. This was dessert to die for.
Yeah.
And again, in the spirit of taking one for the team, I actually had 2 desserts from here.
It's a hard job. It's a hard job.
Sometimes somebody's got to do it.
That's it.
Because I just couldn't make up my mind which one to try for everybody.
Okay. So what'd you go with?
A bubblegum soft serve ice cream in a lavender cone with sparks of imagination, so a little bit of pixie dust on top, and white chocolate wings. It was a figment item.
Of course, yeah.
I didn't love the bubblegum soft serve on its own. However, it was also covered in these tight little candies, and when you had the bubblegum ice cream with the candy on it, it was actually amazing.
Yeah, the contrast. I get it.
Contrast worked. The lavender cone was amazing looking. I mean, who doesn't want a purple ice cream cone?
Sure. Yeah,
can't go wrong there. And then, this is kind of a Jeff item. I had the Candy Trio Flight. 3 little cups of Dole Whip.
Okay.
One was strawberry.
Right.
And that one came with a small cup of Starburst mini fruit chews to put on it.
All right.
One was lemon, and that one came with Skittles popped freeze-dried candy to go on it.
Okay.
And then the third one was a Dole Whip lime with chili lime seasoning flakes and Lifesaver gummies to put on it.
Okay.
Really cute presentation. It came these 3 cups on a cardboard painter's palette, and then a little tray with all the candies in front of it. And as you know, a painter's palette has a nice little hole in it usually where you would hold it.
Of course.
But it happened to also double as the most awesome ice cream cone holder. Oh. So you could put your figment cone into your Dole Whip tray.
Can't beat that.
I mean, it was a win.
You can't beat that. It sounds amazing.
I also can't ever go to a festival and not hit up Italy. They had something again with pesto, so I had to try it. Again, we're looking at color. So it was 3 larger size raviolis with a red sauce, a white sauce, and a pesto. So you got that red, white, and green.
Sure.
It was good. It wasn't the be all and end all in Italian food. It was a great color thing. But next to France, and of course Mexico, because they're all there for the drinks. I would say Italy has the longest lines. So check out some of these other options. They were all very tasty.
Well, it sounds amazing. I appreciate you taking the time to go down there. Any last minute thoughts you have for folks before we say goodbye?
Just two quick things. We also know that it is always all about the popcorn bucket.
Sure.
This year is no exception. A new Figment bucket. It is a light bulb with colored popcorn inside.
All right.
You can get that at the Odyssey Pavilion. They've really gotten it down perfect of how to hand out popcorn buckets without huge lines at the festival. And pre-order it on the app. It'll go even quicker.
Nice.
And then the other thing that we really didn't talk about is festival merchandise. They did have festival ears and a mug and a shirt. There's not a lot of festival merchandise compared to other festivals because, again, the merchandise is all about the art. And you don't have to get the big piece in the original. Pick up a couple of the postcards or the prints. There's phenomenal choices. There's every style of art. They cover everything from Mickey to Star Wars to every bit of IP. You will find something. So think about it, but don't miss out. Most of those art pieces, I would say at least 80% can only be purchased at the festival. Some of them you can get throughout the year at Disney Fine Arts, but this is really the spot to pick up your art.
Well, I thank you for the time that you spent there to enjoy all these things and take them in. And I thank you for sharing it with us today. Have a great week, and we'll catch you next week.
You as well.
And that's a wrap this week on Let's Talk Dis. If anyone you know could benefit from this or any show, please share on your Facebook and Instagram for other Disney fans to enjoy. And don't forget to reach out to the folks at Easy Dis by Instant Impressions Travel Services for any Disney destination planning. Make it a great week. And as always, keep making memories.